Zohran is anti-Israel coming from Democrats, coming from Republicans is perfect, and I want it to keep coming. While it's giga racist, I will say this, it's good. Every moment that they spend on Zohran, specifically on the issue of Israel, is a good moment because it is a deeply unpopular position that these morons do not realize is a indefensible position in the eyes of the public.
And breaking tonight, Fox News has just learned former Governor Andrew Cuomo is not dropping out of the mayoral race. He will appear on the ballot in November as an independent. Here now with reaction. He is the hard-hitting host of Life, Liberty, and Levin. Thank me. God bless us. How am I? I'm done. The great one, Mark Levin. How are you?
Sean, I'm doing great. First of all, I want to salute our Commander-in-Chief in the United States military. God bless them. They are the best. Now, let's get to this reprobate. Other than hating America, hating Jews, and hating capitalism, he's a pretty good candidate. You know, he's kind of a mix between Putin and Arafat. And let me be very clear about this. He's not an American-loving, moderate Muslim. He's an Islamist. That's what he is. I don't want to hear about Islamophobia. This guy's an Islamist. Islamists hate
One of the funniest parts about this, and I addressed this earlier, one of the funniest parts about this kind of statement is one that I'm also obviously very used to, and I addressed as well. Saying this about one of the, if not the currently most progressive candidate in the Democratic Party is additionally crazy. I said this as well. Zohran, much like Ilhan Omar, is one of the most progressive politicians in America and has been getting called a Sharia-supporting jihadist by actual white Christian fundamentalists who want to do Christian Sharia and advocate for more death all around the world. The very people that are saying he's Islamist, he's Islamist, he's Islamist, are insane. Dog, you are claiming, and I know this from my own personal experience as well, being also 33 and Muslim, a progressive Muslim socialist myself. I hear this all the time. People who want to dominate women, people who want to dominate queer people, that turn around and tell me I'm actually a Islamist fundamentalist. They're saying that to Zohran. And the only reason why anyone ever even entertains this is because they too are just as racist.
Moderate Muslims. That's what he is. Now let's look where he stands. First of all, he's 33 years old, so he's got pretty old. You know, Castro was only 29 when he took over Cuba. And here we have this guy. This guy's never run a hot dog stand. Not even a kosher hot dog stand. He's never run anything except his mouth. Where does he stand? He won't endorse Israel's right to exist. Wow, that's a tough one. He defends the phrase globalize the intifada. That means he favors globalizing terrorism. When he's challenged, he said, oh, that's just what Palestinians say. No, it isn't, pal. I know who you are and I know what you are. He goes on. He supports the boycott, divestment, sanctions, BDS movement against Israel, which means destroy Israel, withdraw all investments in Israel. So
I will once again repeat, all of this, Zohran is anti-Israel coming from Democrats, coming from Republicans, is perfect, and I want it to keep coming. While it's giga racist, I will say this, it's good. Every moment that they spend on Zohran, specifically on the issue of Israel, is a good moment because it is a deeply unpopular position that these morons do not realize is a indefensible position in the eyes of the public. The broader public either looks at this and goes, why the do I give a about his takes on Israel, or goes, hey, good, I didn't know this about him. I also hate Israel. Do you understand? And I hate to give my enemy advice here. So I think maybe it's best I don't even say this, but I'll say it anyway because I'm a idiot and no one really listens to me anyway. Every moment that they spend defending this indefensible position that the majority of the public also agrees with is a moment that they're wasting not attacking him on other that might be a more prescient line of attack, a more valuable line of attack. This was the mistake of Andrew Cuomo too. But these guys, it is kind of wild how hard they ride Israel's dick. It is kind of wild because I think the weird echo chamber that they've created for themselves is impenetrable. and they just do not see a world outside of like their immediate circles where it's like unacceptable to talk about Israel as anything but the most moral nation on the planet that deserves trillions of fucking dollars. Mamdani, yeah. Zaid Jalani says, Mamdani campaign with almost perfect messaging on this issue never came across as anti-Israel, which I think is wrong. Okay? No, he didn't just come across as anti-war. He came across as anti-Israel. And the reality of the matter is most people also are anti-Israel. Maybe not to the same degree that I am. Maybe they haven't like worked through the contradictions, or maybe they don't agree with my solutions. But he absolutely did come across as anti-Israel. And it's not a bad thing to come across as anti-Israel. It's a good thing. Every moment wasted informing the public about a position that Zohran holds that is insanely popular is a moment that they wasted not attacking him on other shit. Yeah, Cuomo's advisors were begging him to shut the up about Israel the whole time. Look at this. Cuomo's doom and gloom portrayal of the city he wanted to lead tried to tap into what he assumed would be a deep anxiety over the direction of the city and New Yorkers' concerns with crime. Over the private objections of some people on his campaign, the former governor spent considerable time on the trail hammering Mamdani's anti-Israel positions, which includes support for the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. It was a miscalculation. Mamdani's bid hinged on widespread affordability concerns, especially for young voters in a city where monthly rent is increasingly out of hand. As Mamdani closed the gap with Cuomo, some of former governor's advisors encouraged him to talk less about Israel, an issue that has divided the Democratic Party. It has not divided the Democratic Party. This is not true. This is also a lie. The Democrats are not divided on Israel. The Democratic Party's base of support, its voters, are not divided on Israel. They're on Israel time, okay? The problem is nobody else in the party leadership has a clock on the wall. So they ain't saying that it's Israel time, okay? The party is insanely out of touch with the electorate. And I think it is deliberate. I think that is by design. They have deluded themselves into thinking. That this is an issue that is defensible. It is not. And before you say, oh, they know it's bad, they just don't want to say it. No, dude, if they knew it was bad, they would shut the up. AIPAC knows it's bad. AIPAC has known that it's bad. That's why when AIPAC or DMFI or all these other like pro-Israel lobby groups, primary people, they don't spend any money on ads talking about Israel. In the Jamal Bowman campaign, they didn't spend any, or Jamal Bowman's different. There were some like pro-Israeli sentiment in his new district. But like in the Cori Bush campaign, they didn't spend a single dime on any sort of like Cori Bush hates Israel. She's a Jew hater. Like they didn't do that at all. Why would they do that? You think people in Missouri give a no. Anyway, let's get back to this dumb shit.
So he's a Class A Jew hater in a city that has the largest population of Jews on the face of the earth. He, he wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he enters New York City. So he's got these fascist tendencies, too. What else?
What?
Taxation is not theft. Capitalism is theft. You know what, pal? Why don't you go into a supermarket? Look what the supermarkets provide the American people. All the types of meat, all the types of vegetables, all the types of wine, 40 different types of bread, 30 different types of milk. That's not some damn Marxist regime. That's America, where Americans have access to more food, more goods, more material than kings and queens had 100 years ago. That's capitalism, pal, and we like it. What else? The Green New Deal, socialism. He wants a $10 billion tax hike on businesses. Now, what happens if you do that? What do? They go to New Jersey, they go to Connecticut, they go to a free state, maybe Florida. In other words.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure Jersey City has a higher tax on businesses anyway, but they don't. Capital flight is, and there's a very easy corrective measure called a exit tax that will stamp people into their place of business. But it doesn't ever have to get to that point because capital flight is simply a threat. That's it. It's a threat that nobody ever cashes in on. Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way. Yeah, Wall Street. You're going to move Wall Street? Suck my dick. You're not going to move Wall Street anywhere. Bro, they have laid fiber optic cables from New York directly to Chicago so they can do real-time trading without skipping a goddamn beat. Proximity to Wall Street is unimaginably important for traders. The idea that they're going to move away is so stupid. It's not happening.
He will kill jobs. He will kill jobs. The guy doesn't know how to create jobs. He's never held a job. The hell has he ever done in his life? It amazes me. These 33-year-old Marxist Islamists, they know how to run the world. They don't know how to run anything. They don't even know how to fix a toilet or to change their oil. What does he want? Free buses, rent freezes, city run.
Michael Bloomberg also ran on free buses. Rent freezes have happened time and time again under previous leadership as well.
Grocery stores. You know what that means? You're going to.
There are plenty of states that have city-run grocery stores, including liquor stores that are government-owned in certain states. The VA operates a massive chain of state-run grocery stores as well. This is simply a pilot project anyway, but if it doesn't work, then they scrap it. It's that simple. The goal is to try to help people.
Starve to death because the city doesn't know how to run a grocery store. They can't run a damn thing. He wants a $30 minimum wage. Why not? He doesn't know. I better watch my mouth. Free city bus.
This is a Jamal Bowman appreciation tweet? What the Zohran Mamdani's extremism exposed. And his extremism is, this is a Jamal Bowman appreciation tweet? New York is the birthplace of the global socialist feminist movement?
Buses he wants. What else?
Okay, that's false. That is only extremist because it's revisionist. The global socialist feminist movement was not born in New York. It was in the USSR. That part is actually false. But outside of that, fine, true.
What does he want? Universal everything. Free child care for children under 6. Oh, that's cool.
Wait, what? He's got a problem with this too?
Well, who's going to handle that, by the way? Oh, we don't know.
We
what
need
else?
Free abortion and contraception on demand.
Advocates for city-run grocery stores with wholesale prices. Yeah, they'll go broke in 2 minutes. He wants to...
Dude, the purpose of these grocery stores is not to run a profit. Everyone's talking about how people are so busted. Everyone's been talking about how like slim the profit margins are for grocery stores. They're like, well, profit margins for grocery stores like 1.6%. It's like, okay, well, there's a lot of cost that would be alleviated if the government was owning it, whether it be like utilizing pre-existing storefront or something that they might have, or even like a bunch of the licenses that you don't need to pay for since it's the government. And beyond that, who gives a if the profit margin is low? It doesn't need the profit as long as it's like self-paying and somewhat funded by taxes. It's fine. The goal is literally, no rent, no property taxes, no overhead for operations, HR, etc., folded into city services, no profit motive. I don't understand. Yeah, also no corporate expenditures, no trips, no lobbying dollars, no marketing dollars necessary, no executive salary compensation, none of that. So you could technically have a fairly profitable service as well, but you don't even need to have it be profitable. Why does it need to be profitable? It's a government service. Do we look at libraries and we're like, why are the libraries not profitable? Why is the DMV not profitable? What the hell is going on? It's like, no, dude, it's a government service. It's so good. There's one in Florida. Baldwin, Florida opens government-run grocery store to address food desert. Stop. Don't remind them libraries exist. Oh, no, they're going to come after libraries. God damn, these people are so stupid.
Abolish ICE. Well, first of all, he's so stupid he doesn't understand. The federal government runs ICE. See, there's a federal government, a state, and a local government. What else? He says ICE is fascist. He opposes... look, New York, do you really want this a-hole as your mayor? I'm just being...
Bro, he got so angry. He couldn't finish his point. I love that. I love when Republican guys get so mad that they just can't even finish a coherent thought. Where they're like, ah! Do you really want this asshole? Yeah, the answer is yes. What are you going to do about it? Also, the idea that he's saying abolish ICE as the mayor of New York is so stupid. Obviously, he knows he doesn't have that capability. My favorite thing is when people just like add additional, what is it, 17 states that have state monopolies on alcohol and liquor stores. No, I know. USPS being a government-run competitor to private parcel companies, or literally any municipal transit agency being a government-run competitor to private transport, or the Tennessee Valley Authority being a federally owned electric utility company. Yeah, that's the real secret. The real secret is that government-run institutions like this can't speak on the liquor stores, but like government-run institutions like this that are not run at the behest of the profit motive is good. They offer better services than private alternatives, as a matter of fact. Tennessee Valley Authority is a great example of this. Tennessee, across the board, has some of the best internet in the country, dude. It was so good that Google petitioned the government to make it illegal, okay? It is so good. Chattanooga has some of the best internet in this country, okay? Chattanooga, Tennessee, you would never expect that. You're like, what the is that? The reason? Yeah, it's so good that big ISPs, alongside with Google, have petitioned the government to make it illegal for local municipalities to offer government-owned ISPs. Isn't that crazy? Better question is, why the do you know about Chattanooga? Dog, look at my internet. I live in the heart of Los Angeles. My internet is dog. I know about I know about state-sponsored terror organizations that have laid fiber optic cables. I've talked extensively about Hezbollah and their fiber optic cables that they have. They have a closed network in Lebanon. Are you kidding me? You think I don't know about Chattanooga, Tennessee? Look at how bad my internet is. I'm on the outside looking in thinking, damn, why can't I have that good?
Perfectly honest with you. Do you want to destroy your city? Now, here's the problem. If the rational human beings in New York don't come out and vote, he's going to be your mayor. And he's going to destroy your city. And it'll never be the same again. So what will people do? This city will be depopulated. That is, people who love America, people who pay their taxes, people who believe in law and order, they're going to leave. And people who are reprobates and violent and Islamists, not Muslims, Islamists, they will populate the city. And that's what's going to happen to the greatest city on the face of the earth. This is what this guy's going to do. Now, I would ask New Yorkers, other than what I just told you, who is he? Do you know anything about him? Of course not. Now, I watched Psaki on MSNBC, who lied through her teeth on behalf of Joe Biden. So apparently their defense is anybody who criticizes an Islamist, Marxist, Jew-hating, American-hating capitalist, that must be Islamophobia. You know what, Psaki? You're the Islamophobe. You're stereotyping. This guy is not your moderate Muslim who supports Muslims. He's an Islamist Marxist. That's what he is. That's why Bernie Sanders, another Marxist, that's why Bernie Sanders is out there, billionaires and oligarchs. Shut up, Bernie. That's why AOC is there campaigning for him. AOC wants to be president of the United States. But here's what really gets me, Sean.